Hi, I'm so excited to have all of you here today. We're going to be working through the first grader project of chapter 1, which is chapter 1 rentals. I'm going to read the project description. You manage a beach guest house in Fort Lauderdale containing 3 types of rental units. Prices are based on peak and off-peak times of the year. You need to calculate the maximum daily revenue for each rental type, assuming all units are rented. In addition, you need to calculate the discount rate for off-peak rental times. Finally, you will improve the appearance of the worksheet by applying font, alignment, and number formats. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now, and we're going to go ahead and walk through the steps in the grader project. Now, I want to show you the grader project, which you obviously cannot see, but there are directions that are provided on my IT lab along with an Excel worksheet. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through these steps. I'm going to go ahead and share. So this is the beach guest house Excel spreadsheet. Step 1, start Excel, download and open the file. Grader has automatically added your last name to the beginning of the file name. So this is the file name up here. Mine says student, but yours will say your last name. Step 2, you want to format the main title to have a consistent appearance to other documents and spreadsheets. Apply the heading 1 cell style to the range A1 through G1. So this is my tab here for rental rates. These are all my cells. Okay, I've had an opportunity to discuss these with you in other videos. Here is A1 through G1. This is a one large cell that has been merged from A1 through G1. So once it gets merged, it now becomes the smallest of the cells, which is A1. So that entire merged cell of A1 through G1 is now known as A1. We have been asked here to apply a heading 1 cell style. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my ribbon up here. I'm going to click on the Home tab. And on the Home tab, I'm going to go all the way over here to the middle section where it says Styles. And here I'm going to click this drop-down arrow, and I will find different cell styles. And at the bottom, you'll see titles and headings. We are asked to locate heading 1, which is right here. I've already clicked cell A1 to make sure that it's selected. Now I will go ahead and click heading 1. And I've applied that cell style. Step 3, you want to apply a similar complementary style to the date, which is below the main title. Apply the 20% accent 1 cell style to the range A2 through G2. So I'm going to go ahead and click this A2 to G2 where it says effective May 1. It's already been merged, so all I have to do is locate heading. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Home tab, click on the Cell Styles group. And from here, I'm going to locate Apply 20% Accent 1, which is right here, to that cell. Step 4. The peak rentals heading is centered over the related data in columns C and D. You want the off-peak rentals heading to be centered over its related data. Merge and center off-peak rentals in the range E4 through G4. Now I'm going to pause here because if you've noticed step 2, 3, and 4, every time there's a colon, I have said through. In Excel, that colon, when they're describing a range of cells, means through. If you see a comma, that means and. This is known as the syntax or the language that the system uses to communicate. So let's go back to step 4, and we've been asked to merge and center the off-peak rentals in the range E4 through G4. So I've left click over the off-peak rentals, and previous video I showed about the cursor styles, which is really important for you to pay attention to. I've got my white cross. I'm left clicking with my white cross. I'm holding my mouse down and I'm sliding across to select through G4. Then I'm going to go up to my home tab and I'm going to left click this merge and center. When you left click merge and center, automatically it will merge the cells that are selected and center the text in there. You also have the options in this to just merge across or merge the cells. So there's a lot of different options if you don't want the text to necessarily be centered in the merge. Step 5. To help other people know that the off-peak rentals heading is related to 3 columns of data, you want to apply a fill color to that heading. You will choose a different color to distinguish these data columns from the fill color used for the peak rentals heading. Apply blue fill color, the 8th color below standard colors, and white background 1 font color to cell E4. So I'm going to go ahead and click on cell E4. And we have been asked to apply a blue fill color. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my home tab. And again, we've talked about the ribbon in a previous video. This is your ribbon. These are your tabs. These little gray lines are called groups. The home tab is where you'll find the font options. And here's my font group. I'm going to locate this little bucket, which is my fill color. I'm going to left click that after I've already selected E4. And I'm going to locate the 8th color below standard colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, what's special about the standard colors is that they are just the standard name for the colors that you know as these colors. A lot of the other colors that are often known as the theme colors have special distinct names to them. Now I'm going to go ahead and just hover over these and show you. If I was to hover over this blue color, it's not just called blue, it's called blue accent 5. Now this is a distinct blue. There might be a blue accent 1, there might be a blue accent 6, but each of these colors are also specifically curated for a certain theme that is selected for the spreadsheet. Now, that's another lecture that where I'll get an opportunity to talk to you all about the color themes. But when you change the themes of a spreadsheet, you can change the colors, the font styles, a lot of different things. This is the office theme that is always standard. And these are the colors that you'll get. If you wanted to modify to another theme, you would get different colors. The standard colors always will be called the actual color of their name. And this is the color blue that we want to select here. All right, step number 6. 3 headings: maximum revenue, maximum revenue, and discount rate. Now, they've written maximum revenue twice because maximum revenue is below peak rentals and off-peak rentals. And then there was the word discount rate. Do not fully display on the 5th row, as you'll see that these words are disappearing in the column, or you can see it, but it's spilling over into the next cell. You want to wrap the headings instead of whitening the columns within their respective cells. This will enable you to maintain the column width appropriate for the data below the headings. Center and wrap the headings on row 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select all of them because if anything changes later, I want to make sure all of these headings in row 5 have the same formatting. I'm going to go ahead and left click on rental type with my white cross, left click, hold my mouse down and scroll across to G5. I'm going to click on my home tab, and then I'm going to click wrap text. So what that does is instead of widening the column, it takes the text that you can't see and puts it underneath that and just wraps it until they're all in one line this way. All right, let's go on to step number 7. You are ready to calculate the peak rentals maximum revenue that can be earned. The maximum revenue is the total revenue if all rental units are rented. In cell D6, enter a formula that calculates the peak rentals maximum revenue. Okay, so under maximum revenue under peak rentals, under maximum revenue, I'm going to click in cell D6 because step 7 says in cell D6, enter a formula that calculates the peak rentals maximum revenue. So every formula in Excel always starts with the equal sign. Excel's equal sign in a cell tells it that it is time to calculate. Now you have to tell the system what it's going to calculate. Now, we are told here in step 7, the formula is number of units times daily rate. However many units they have and they charge that per day is how much money they're going to make on those beach guest houses. So I'm going to click on cell B6. You can also type B6 and you're going to use the cell reference or cell address, which is B in the columns and 6 in the row, because if that number ever changes, you want that formula to also be modified. And we're going to use the multiplication symbol in Excel, which is the asterisk. And then we can type C6, or you can click on C6. And you can either press enter on your keyboard, which will take you down to cell D7, or you can click this little check mark up here in your formula bar, and that will keep cell D6 the active cell. So the green box won't move. So if I pressed enter on my keyboard, it would move down. If I was to come back here and just click this little check, it'll stay right there. Let's go to step number 8. The discount rate is a percentage off of the peak rentals per day rate used to calculate the off-peak rentals per day rate. The studio apartment rents for $120 off peak, which is 80% of the $149.95 peak rate. Therefore, the discount rate for the off-peak per day rate is 20%. Now, those of you who hated math or have a fear of math have probably just read this and thought, what the heck does that mean? I have no idea. It is a lot easier than you have to think about. With Excel, you have to just know some basic mathematics, which is something that all of you have learned and you all know. And if you can handle actual money, you can handle these calculations. All that you really have to know about math in Excel is knowing how to tell the system to do it. So let's go ahead and do step 8. In cell G6, so I'm going to go ahead and click in cell G6. Enter a formula that calculates the discount rate for the off-peak rental price per day. Hint, the formula is, and they give you the formula. So I'm going to write equals the 1 minus, and I'm going to do an open parentheses because if you ever learned PEMDAS when you were in school, you know that the P stands for parentheses. So anything in parentheses in mathematical order of operations will be calculated first. And we want that to be calculated first with whatever we put in the parentheses here. We're now going to click on the off-peak rentals daily rate. So here's my off-peak rentals daily rate, which is right here because this is my off-peak section. And then I'm going to do a divided by. And then we're going to do a divided by the per day peak rentals daily rate. This will show us that 80% discount that is given for off-peak rentals. Now, I'm just going to spend a little time here while you are catching up with me, explaining what this means. So if I wanted to rent a property on Airbnb during a time when most people don't travel, let's say I want to go somewhere that's really cold, where people usually travel when it's only warm and they have Airbnb rentals available, I'm going to go ahead and get that 80% cheaper rate, or sorry, a 20% cheaper rate on that rental because I'm choosing to rent that property in an off-peak time. So that's just what this difference is here. So I'm going to go ahead and press this check mark as enter. You can again press enter on your keyboard as well. Now you get a decimal. Decimals and fractions and percentages are all the exact same thing, just looking at them in a different format. So for example, if that said 0.25 and I'm looking at what percentage of a dollar is that, I would know that that is 0.25, which is 25 cents of a dollar, which is also 1/4 of a dollar, which is also 25% of a dollar. So when you're looking at decimals, you're looking at fractions, you're looking at percentages, I want you to begin to see if you can go back and forth with them, especially when you start thinking about them in terms of money. I think it's a lot easier to process. Okay, so we know that this is 0.22 decimal, which is 22%. Okay, let's move on to step number 9. You created formulas for the peak rentals maximum revenue and the discount rate for the off-peak rentals for the studio apartment rental type. Now you want to copy the formulas to the remaining rental type so that you don't have to create formulas again. Copy the formulas in cell D6 to D7 and D8, and then copy the formula in cell G6 to G7 and G8. I'm going to show you a trick called the autofill. I'm going to go ahead and click on cell D6, and you see in this bottom right corner, there's a small little green box that's sort of detached from the rest of the selection box. That is called my fill handle. When I hover my mouse over that, I get a black cross. I'm going to left click on that, hold my mouse down, and drag it down to D8. What that does is it does something called a cell reference. And because Excel is calculating the same cells all the way down, so for row 7, I'm calculating 7. For row 8, I'm calculating 8. For row 6, I'm calculating 6. It is able to automatically fill that pattern. I'm going to do that over here as well. It knows that here is E6 divided by C6. So here, when I automatically fill that, that will be E7 divided by C7 and E8 divided by C8. And that's what I want. So I can do that automatic fill of that formula. Same thing, hover over, left click, drag it down. Okay, step number 10. We're getting through this. We're getting through this. We're halfway through. The values in the columns are hard to read with varying number of decimal points. The counting number format will align the decimal points and display dollar signs to improve the appearance of the monetary values. Format the range C6 through F8 with a counting number format. Okay, and they give you a hint on where to find that. So C6, I'm going to left click C6 all the way to F8. I'm going to select that text. Now I'm going to go up to my home tab. So what is accounting number format? Accounting number format makes my numbers here actually look like money. Now, Microsoft is a US product and we are using it here in the US. And so the default monetary option is usually the dollar bill. Now you have every single monetary option there is to choose in the entire world in here if you want, but the dollar bill is here as a default for us. The accounting number format is actually that option there. If you want to left click on that dollar bill, you'll see a screen tip pop up, which is something that we have discussed in a previous video as well. These are all screen tips you see when you hover over any of these items, it tells you what they are. I can left click that. You'll see that these turn into the accounting number format. Now, what's the difference between accounting and currency? The currency number format takes the dollar bill or the dollar symbol and smashes it up against the numbers. So it doesn't always look like a nice clean look. The accounting number format keeps the dollar symbol all the way left aligned, regardless of if it's a $1 or $10,000, the dollar symbol is aligned all the way down. It's a cleaner format and it's the one that I would suggest you use in the workplace. Okay, so let's move on to step 11. And the option, by the way, is also up here if you want to click this drop down arrow and select accounting number format. And you'll see the two options. I can actually show you. Let me show you that quickly. If I click on currency, you see the difference. Currency versus accounting. Accounting is just a cleaner format, and in the workplace, I will always suggest you use that format. All right, let's move on to step 11. The discount rate formula results are displayed as decimal points. However, formatting the values as percentages will align decimal points and clearly indicate the percentages. Format the range G6 through G8 in percent style with 1 decimal place. So I'm going to go ahead and select with my white cross, left click on G6, highlight down to G8, go up to my home tab. Now, if you wanted to keep your ribbon showing all the time, there's a little push pin icon right here and you can left click that. You can also choose Control and F1 at the same time and it'll keep that anchored there so it won't keep moving. I don't like to look at my ribbon, so I like it to disappear when I don't need it. So we're going to go ahead and go up here and here's the percentage icon. Now, when you click on the percentage icon, it rounds the number up to the nearest whole number. So there won't be any decimal places here. So you'll have to choose that over here. Same as if I went here and I chose percentage. This one will actually give me the decimal places. Let me show you the difference. If I was to click this, it does the whole number. If I'm to click this, it gives me 2 decimal places. But we've been asked for 1 decimal place. So regardless of if you went through the drop-down menu and you chose percentage with the 2 decimal places, or if you chose this icon and it rounded up to the nearest whole number, you're going to have to either reduce or increase the decimal place. So this will increase my decimal by 1. This would reduce your decimal. So I could increase it regardless. You want to make sure that your screen looks like this. Step 12. You applied a solid blue to the off-peak rentals heading. So you will apply a complementary lighter blue fill color to the data below that heading. Apply blue accent 1, lighter 80% fill color to the range E5 through G6. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select E5 through G6 because we want this little group of information to be all blue and a lighter blue. So I'm going to go ahead up to my home tab. I'm going to locate my blue bucket option and I'm going to locate blue accent 1. So I'm guessing this is my accent 1. Lighter 80%. So I'm going to scroll down. I think this might be it. Blue accent one lighter, 80%. I know that based on the screen tip, and it matches the same statement that's on step 12. I'm going to go ahead and select that. Let's go to step 13. Now we're going to do the same thing for the peak rentals with the red. Let's read the question or read the step. A solid red fill is applied to the peak rentals heading. You will select a complementary color, fill color for the data below that heading. Select the range C5 through D8 and apply a custom fill color with red 242, green 220, and blue 219. Now they're making you choose the color this time, and I'm going to show you how you do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select C5 through D8. And you know what? I think I made a mistake in this one. We were supposed to make this blue as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and make this blue first. Okay, C5 through D8. I'm going to go ahead and go my home tab. Click this drop down arrow, but I'm not selecting anything here. I'm actually going to go to more colors because they've asked me to do a custom color. So I'm going to now click my custom color option, and then we're going to go down here where it says red, green, and blue and put the specific numbers that we've been asked to choose. So 242. Now this is really helpful in the workplace. 220 if your company has like a specific color for your logo, 219, that you have made that you want to use every single time you create some type of document. So custom colors are really helpful in that way. So we've got 242, 220, 219. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And I've got those colors in there. Step 14. Answer the first question. You know what? I'm skipping 14 and 15. I'm going to go down to step 17 because I think 14, 15, and 16 you can answer on your own. Now that the worksheet formulas and contains formulas and is formatted, you're ready to apply page setup options to prepare the worksheet to be printed. If needed, select landscape orientation, center the data horizontally on the page, and apply the setting to fit to one page. So we're going to be doing some stuff with the printing. So if I want to actually show you what it looks like, if I was to click File and I was to click Print, here's what this would look like right now if I was to print it. I don't want it to look like this because I'm asked to change it to a format so I can see it all in a landscape. Now this is portrait when it's lengthwise, and when it's when it's this way, it is landscape. So I'm going to go ahead and select right here where it says portrait orientation. I'm going to select landscape. Now all of these options are also located on your ribbon, which I will show you. The page layout tab contains options needed. Okay, so we did that. I'm going to go back over here. I want to show you under page layout tab that you can do orientation and choose page landscape here as well. But going to the print format to show you that allows you to visually see the changes. Now you see this perforated line that showed up just now? This shows my printing area. So this is the area that would print. This would be like page 2 and page 3 and page 4 is where these lines are. Step 18. It's important to provide identification information in a footer of the worksheet, in particular, the textbook series name, the worksheet name, and the file name to help identify the worksheet. Now, if I was to click File, again, I'm going to do it from here because I think it's important that you get the opportunity to see what happens when you make these changes. So I'm going to go ahead and click Page Setup right here. Now, this is one way to get to the header and footer. I'm going to show you another way to get to the header and footer. So click the Insert tab. And then click Header and Footer here. But I'm going to go this way because for me, this is the easiest way to show you what happens. I'm going to click the page setup and I'm clicking the header and footer tab. All of this is exactly the same as what's on the ribbon. It just looks a little visually different. So here we're going to use the insert a footer with the text exploring series on the left side, the sheet name code in the center, and the file name code on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and click custom footer. And these images, if you hover over them, give you these icons, tell you what they are with the screen tip. If you're using the ribbon, you can actually see the written words underneath. And so it's a little bit easier to understand. And I'll show you that as well, the other way. Here's my left section, here's my center section, here's my right section. So the first question that we're being asked is to insert the text exploring series on the left-hand side. Okay. The sheet name code in the center. So this is my sheet and this is my file, and this is where the path to where my file is located. Now these are all important. Say in the workplace you're working and you are homesick and somebody needs to find the file that you were working on. If you have the file path or the file name located in the footer, somebody can find that in the system somewhere if it's on a shared network drive. It also helps you to locate an item, especially if you're working on multiple projects for a same client. It just helps to stay organized for you and for your business. So here's the sheet name. The sheet name will be the name rental properties, I think. And then we can click over here in the right section and we're going to type the file name code on the right side. So here's the file name. And we'll click OK. And then you'll see, okay, down here how that pops up. All right. Now, on the ribbon, you would click Insert, you would click Header and Footer. And then you'll see header, left, center, right. If we scroll all the way down, you'll see that it is left, center, right down here. And under Design tab for my header and footer tools, you'll see those same icons with the text underneath. Now, this is something that is important for me to explain. It's called a conceptual tool. You'll see that it says header and footer tools in like a dark green and the Design tab. These are things that only pop up on the ribbon when you're using that concept. Because I'm using a header and footer concept, there's extra tools that pop up for me. Otherwise, they're not there. So what Microsoft has done is they've made the most commonly used tools available on the ribbon, and items like the header and footer tools, when you don't need them, they don't show. But when you are using them, you get this extra tab that usually pops up for you. So if I was to close it out, click anywhere here. Let's say I want to go back to my normal view. You'll see that it's disappeared. And although I don't see my print preview here, I know that my footer is there when I click the print icon. Okay, we are on step 19. To preserve the data, you make a copy of the worksheet so that you can manipulate the data, or if you want to review the formulas. Create a copy of the rentals worksheet. Place the new sheet to the right of the original and name it formula. So I'm going to go ahead and hover over my rentals rates tab. I'm going to go ahead and right click on it so I get all of these options. I'm going to then click move or copy, and I get this dialog box that pops up. I want to create a copy of the rentals rates sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to click OK. It asks me, where do I want to put it? I want to put that at the end of it. Do I want to put it before or at the end? I want to move it to the end. I know that I'm copying this to this book and I'm clicking OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and rename this now. I'm going to right click on it and left click rename, and we're going to call it formulas. And then that's it, press enter. Step 20, we're at the end. Woo! You want to display the formulas and set print options so that it will be easier to read and interpret the rental formulas on a printout if needed. On the formulas worksheet, display cell formulas and set printing options to print grid lines and headings. So I'm going to go ahead and click formulas. On the formulas worksheet, display cell formulas. So I'm going to come over here on the formulas tab on the formula auditing and click show formulas. And I'm also going to set options to print grid lines and headings. What does that mean? I essentially, when I print, I want to print the column letters, the row numbers, and that anywhere there is text, I want there to be little lines that pop up that print. I wish you could see this on my screen close up, but you cannot because I have a background. But I will show you what it looks like. If I was to click File Print right now, this is what it would look like. But if I want to go ahead and go to Page Layout, and I want to apply Print Grid Lines and Headings for my sheet options, and I go to File Print now, you'll see that they show like that. Pretty cool. And that is your first grader project, which is titled Rentals. I hope you learned something today. And I look forward to getting to know you a little bit better this semester. Thank you so much.